Alright, so I'm going to be making a tutorial on some things in Eternal Engine, starting with what most people are probably here for, the skip, the big skip itself. So, I am using Dolphin with save states, so because of that, since I'm recording, it's probably not going to be playing at full speed most of the time, because my Dolphin doesn't really run very well when I'm recording it, but it still gets the job done. It's great for practicing with offline because it runs perfectly fine when I'm not recording. And this is actually how I'd recommend you practice these things. Just get Dolphin and use some save states to practice these skips and stuff. So about this save state, I'm coming out of the cycle and I'm at as high of a speed as I can be coming out of the cycle. So this is full speed going towards the door. And this is what you want. You don't want to practice this skip from a full stop because then you'll get different results because the timing will be different. So you want to practice it like this with a save state where you're going towards the tank at full speed. And what I do is I run off the platform because walking on the ground or running on the ground is faster than hovering. It's just a little bit faster. It saves just a small amount of time. It's not that significant, but it's what I do. So I run towards the tank, and right before I hit the tank, I jump and hover, and I go all the way into the corner of the room. And as soon as I hit the corner, I start holding an upright angle like this. You can see it on the input display. That's about the angle I want to hold. And about a third, I'd say about a third of a second after you hit the corner, like the wall, you really say. So you just want to hit the corner, wait for just a little bit, just about a third or maybe a quarter of a second, and then drop. And that should give you the good angle to clip out and the perfect timing for the door to actually push you out of bounds. So I'm going to now show that off, probably a few times, just to show its consistency. So here we go. All right, so there's one. There's two. There's three. All right, so I got three in a row. The last attempt was kind of bad, but yeah. So it works a lot. It works most of the time. So it's consistent enough to reliably do the stricken runs most of the time. So it's what I recommend. Now for the rest of the skip, I'm going to be teaching a way to save about a second over what literally everyone else is doing, because everyone else is doing it wrong. You don't just fly directly to the goal ring, because if you fly in what appears to be a straight line directly to the goal ring, you're not actually flying in a straight line. What's really happening is the camera is panning around a little bit as you're flying towards the goal ring, and because of that, it makes you fly in a curve. So what we're going to do is mitigate this curve by curving against it. So we're fighting the camera, and I'll show you what this looks like. I have some pretty good visual cues for performing this, so I'll explain them as I go. So first of all, let's clip out of bounds. Alright, so I start hovering way further to the right than what most people do, and I want to basically follow that knife edge sort of shape, and I'm slowly curving over to the left until about here, and now I'll just fly straight like this for the rest of the skip. You can also drop quite a bit. I can afford to. It'll save me time later. so we should be coming up on the end soon. If I did this right, I should be right on target. All right, I'm a little bit too far to the left, but you get the idea. That's the curved void movement. I'll try to do it again, get a better time, because I could probably get a 157 with this. So we follow this big sort of thing jutting out of the wall. We curve over to roughly here, and then just hold this angle. You can even drop for a bit if you're feeling lucky. All right, so now we steer over to the goal. Here we go. So that's that. 2 minutes, not a terribly bad time. It could go lower than that though. So there are some other tricks that I want to show off. So this is going to be approaching Chow Box Room. There's a new strat that I developed that is about as fast as what the IL does, the non-story mode IL, where you collect the Chow key because you have no regard for losing time to the Chow Garden. Because it's not a full story run, it's just an individual level. So this strat obviously doesn't collect the Chow key, and you don't even break the Chow box. You don't want to break the Chow box because it makes you lose speed, and you don't want that. So because of that, we're going to be careful with how many shots we fire into the room to kill the bomb enemy. And in fact, we're not going to even fire any, just one shot to start the lock-on process. And we'll just kill him with lock-on shots. So we can just start holding B whenever. Jump before the door, kill him with lock-ons, and then jump before this door. And hopefully, if you do it right, you actually just pass through the door without bonking. So I'll try to get a good attempt of that. All right, I'm going to start further back so I can get some speed. All right. All right, so this is what it should look like. And then, of course, you'd hit the switch and then just come out like that. But I didn't hit the switch because I fucking suck. So let's try it again, hitting the switch this time. I don't know if I did it. I have no audio cues. Yeah, I didn't do it. This trick is a little hard. It's also not helping that my game isn't running at full speed because I'm used to it at full speed. All right, we definitely hit the switch that time. All right, so you just come out of the room like that. That is about as fast as the standard IL strat. So it'll save you, I don't know, about maybe a little less than a half a second over what you would normally do in a run. So that's nice. We'll continue on because there's more strats to be had. This is playing so slow, so it's going to really throw me off for this rocket here. But if you're playing at full speed, this rocket will take a certain amount of time to spawn in between you loading it in and it actually spawning. So this one actually seemed incredibly fast, but whatever. But you can learn the timing for it and time a jump so that you get a running start that hits the button and the rocket. It's a bit tricky, and it's not something I'd recommend to the average player. So we're going to set another save state here because I'm going to talk about the weight hop which is a task strat that's recently been implemented into RTA runs by myself and a few other people like Dark Pro. So, you would use this if you are behind first cycle pace and you don't think you can make first cycle without it. It saves 0.6 seconds and it's very risky because if you miss it, you have to wait for the weight to come back up. But what you do, I'll just show you here. There's normally a shadow here. You don't want to be underneath the shadow when you're not hovering. You need to be hovering at all times underneath the shadow. The shadow is, for some silly reason, not being loaded into my game with Dolphin. I don't really know why. Haven't figured that out yet. It's some graphical bug, I think. But in the HD version, there's a shadow, and you need to do a hover jump so that you actually start hovering before you're even over the shadow, and you need to reach all the way over to the spring without stopping the hover. So I'll show you what that looks like. Also, when you hit the spring, at the very top of your jump from the spring, you want to start hovering sort of towards the pulley at the top of the weight. And we're going to try to get a frame perfect jump off of the weight and then turn into the pulley so that we grab it. So that's what we're going to do. To be honest, I'm not exactly sure if this is frame perfect, but it feels like it. It's pretty tough. There we go. So that is White Hop. And there's also this Artificial Chaos, which I totally failed to quick kill because I really wasn't trying. Because I want to explain the quick kill. The quick kill isn't hard. I failed it because I just wasn't doing it right. What you want to do for the quick kill is run right up to the Artificial Chaos and jump and shoot it in the face. And the way you do that is you shoot a bullet probably about a third of a second after you jump. So it's like boop, boop, jump, shoot, jump, shoot. So it's a timing thing, mostly, more so than aiming, because it's not too hard to aim directly at the Artificial Chaos. You just run straight at it and then jump, shoot. So jump before the door, jump, shoot. This is 0.6 seconds faster than the standard strat of using the propeller punch. And I'll show you how much slower the normal strat looks. When I get back to it. So yeah, you come to a full stop there. It loses 0.6 seconds. So if you want to add more swag to your run, or if you think you're not going to make the cycle, it's good to learn quick kill. It makes the cycle pretty easy to make. Yeah, so that's it. It's just a jump shoot. Just like that. Maybe a bit faster because I'm playing at a lower speed because Dolphin is crap. But yeah. The last thing I'll cover in Eternal Engine is the very start. There's a little task trick that I stole from the tasks where you lock on to the first robot here and then release, and then lock on, like release your shot, and then lock on to the second one and release your shot, and then you do like a juke to go through this door. You'll get to see the input display that I have set up to look at exactly what inputs I'm doing. So that'll show you basically what you need to do. But the reason why we release the lock on in between locking onto the next target is because if you lock onto multiple targets, your mech is programmed to fire them off in a sequence with a delay in between. But if you interrupt lock-ons with a release, then it won't take that delay into account. The game doesn't care about it anymore. It will just shoot both bullets and both missiles as if they're the first shot in the series without any regard to any previous shots. So because of that, you can kill the two enemies quicker, which means the door opens sooner, which means you get through it sooner. So it's really all about targeting these two enemies really quickly and then doing a juke through the door. And I exited. Whoops, whatever. Didn't have lives. Alright, so that was a bad example. Didn't juke. So yeah, that's what it looks like. It's kind of sexy. You can also run straight through this door if you practice it enough. You want to target those enemies, jump before that door, just jump right into the spring. And for this, about as soon as I see the second lock onto that enemy that I just locked onto, that's when I jump off, and I'm holding forward and hover jumping off. Shoot that guy a little late so I don't blow up the tanks because it causes mass hysteria. And a good checkpoint time would be like 21 or 22. 21 is definitely possible. I've gotten many of those. 22 isn't bad though. That's about what you want to aim for if you're going for first cycle. So yeah, those are all the tiny little strats that add up in Eternal Engine. I hope people start using some of these. I know some people are already using some of these. I'm proud of you. And yeah, good luck with this stage. I hope you can all get first cycles like a boss. These first cycles are sexy. All right, peace out.